Hi everyone, welcome to Political Science 221, American Politics and Government. I wanted to give you a little overview here of our course and where to find things in our website to get you off to a good start. I know sometimes when we start it's a little overwhelming of where to find what. So I just want to show you where some of the things are in our course site, point out a couple of things, and get us going in a good direction quickly. On the left here, we have our blue navigation buttons where announcements will be posted, various things through the course. Our course information button, if we click on that, has our syllabus in a couple of different formats, so hopefully that'll work for you. I recommend you print it off, stick it in your book, in a binder, something that you can refer back to it throughout the semester, because you will need that. You would think you don't, but you will. Most of our content information is going to be here under the agendas and assignments. And for each chapter, we'll have an agenda that will set forth our objectives, our time frames, our due dates. For every chapter will also be some focus questions here that you can open up that go along with the reading and help the reading. You do not need to turn those in. They're not for grading, but they're to help you pull out information in the reading. There will be exam questions drawn from these, and there will be more information on exams later. Then with every chapter we'll have some activity to do, and those vary through the semester. And then also with every chapter we'll have a self-assessment. And there are often some confusions with the self-assessment, but it allows you to award yourself some points for every day that you log in, up to a maximum of 3 points. So if you log in 5 days, you give yourself 3 points. If you log in 7 days, you give yourself 3 points. If you only log in 2 days, you give yourself 2 points. You also can give yourself points for every time you post something on our discussions in the discussion board. If it's a response to a required question that I've given, you give yourself a point. If you comment on another student's response, you give yourself a point. And again, up to a maximum of 3 points. So if you post your required response and 2 comments, you give yourself 3 points. If you post to the required response and you make 5 comments, you give yourself 3 points. If there's a week that we don't particularly have a discussion, there are some other forums that'll be there. But if you have a week that you don't post anything on the discussion board, then you give yourself 0 points. The third part of the self-assessment is where you can give yourself an award for the quality of your post, how meaty it is. If you're just saying, you know, oh, Sarah, that was a really good point, I agree. That helps. It's some feedback, but it could be a little meatier. So if you just have a couple of comments that are sort of I agree or oh, that's interesting, you can still give yourself some points, but maybe only 1 or 2. If you add on to that, say, oh, I agree, that's a good point, I know an example of this, or oh, that relates to this in the textbook, and you're more specific, then give yourself 3 points. If you don't have any comments, then you don't have anything to rate the quality on. So if you have, for the second part of this, of the number of posts you put on is 0, then you're going to have a 0 for the last part of this, of the quality. That seems to be a point where students get confused. I'm not sure I made it any clearer, but we'll try with that. And if you have any questions, certainly come see me, call me, email me, and I'll give you some contact information at the end of our little tour here. We have another button for exams and prep, and as we get farther into the semester and deal with the exams, there will be a study guide, there will be some sample practice problems. I'll have a lot more information about the exams. But as we get closer, the first exam isn't going to be until after Chapter 5, so that's a ways away, and I don't want to overwhelm you with too much right now, so we can deal with some of that later. One thing you do need to know about the exams, though, is that they are online through Blackboard, and they do need to be taken in a proctored setting. There's information about that on the syllabus, but they do need to be in a proctored setting, so either the ACC Testing Center or the ASCOTA Testing Center If you're out of the ACC area, then it's up to you to find a testing center and send me the information with an email and such where I can send the passwords. If that is your situation, you might want to email me and contact me in the next couple of weeks so we can get working on that and get that sorted out for you. The communication tab has a number of things under that. We don't use it a lot, but one of the things you may find helpful is we scroll down. There is a section here for sending an email. You can use that to send email to myself. You can use that to send emails to other students in the course. So that can be a helpful thing you might need. One of the items, though, I believe is that if you use this to send an email, you cannot send an attachment. And there are some assignments where you're going to need me something and send it as an attachment. It won't work if we do it through Blackboard. You have to use a different email browser. Our next navigation tab is our discussion board, and we're going to use the discussion board quite a lot. Several of our chapters will have a specific discussion question, and you'll be required to use this. Initially, for our first chapter, I have a spot where I ask you to click on the introduction, and then you can create a thread and type in your post. And initially, I ask you to introduce yourself. There's directions for that on the syllabus, but or in the agenda, I'm sorry, in the agenda. But I just wanted to let you know a little bit what it looks like. And when you're done typing your introduction, you then click submit at the bottom. I'm not going to do that because I don't want mine to show up, but you would click submit and it will appear in our forum then. I'm going to continue out of this back to our discussion board. But we have several forums here. I always have a little coffee shop, which are for miscellaneous questions and getting to know each other a little bit better. It looks like a couple people maybe have already posted something here. As I say, we'll use the discussion board a lot. If you're struggling with the discussion board and not sure how to use it, please come see me, call me, email me. Sometimes folks in the library and student services can help you a little bit as well. So, please reach out for those things if you're on campus. If you're not on campus, contact me and I'll walk you through it. Some other tabs we have here for web links, we'll use some of those later. We don't need those right away. We have an option for papers, and there will be a paper in the course. We don't start the paper until after the first exam, so I feel we don't really need to worry about that for the first 4 or 5 weeks. There will be a lot more information about the paper as we go through the course. If you're worried about that right away, again, reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that. And then there is also a help button for Blackboard. Personally, I don't find it all that helpful. I do better with asking a person. But for those of you who are wanting to explore some of the things in there, that is a tool as well. So most of what we're going to use is the agenda tab as we get started. And as we finish chapter 1 in the first week, I'll put up an agenda for the second chapter in the second week. You'll see that coming. And we're going to use the discussion board a lot. So those are the main areas. Again, I want to welcome you to the course. I think I started out and I didn't introduce myself in the beginning. So my name is Mrs. Ricker. My office is in Van Laer Hall, room 123, and I am on campus quite a lot. If you're on campus, please do stop in and see me. I always have candy. I always have chocolate. If you need a little sugar boost partway through the morning or the afternoon, by all means, come and see me. I do get a little bit lonely in there, so I do like to see students and get to meet you and put a face to my names online and on Blackboard. So again, welcome. Please stop by my office, even if it's just to introduce yourself, and definitely come by if you have any questions as we get started here. Otherwise, I hope your first week, your first few days here are going well, and that your semester is off to a good start.